Good morning, friends. So very good to be here this morning. Thanks for coming to sit with us here at Journey Home Meditation for the morning sit. We're going to be doing a little shared breathing practice together this morning. We've got some contemplation on a couple of ideas, and we've got a couple really good poems that sort of lasso in all these ideas. It's like ideas are these wild salmon, and these nets we toss out, we can gather. And sometimes they're more like seeds that we pick up as we walk through the desert. If anyone's ever lived in a desert region, you'll know what it's like to gather grass seeds or thistle seeds on your legs and every part of your body, and carry them with you. So all that is just another way of saying that I'm very happy to be here this morning. Let's just find ourselves into this moment in time, this moment in space, this moment in our body. Find our place right here today. Just this little bit of time to relax our thoughts and follow our breath. Remove those. It is such a gift that we can receive and that we can give at the same time. To be able to find our way through all of the chatter, some of which is lending us a little anxiety maybe, or some nervousness. Sometimes the chatter is resentments or regrets, hints of nostalgia. And the chatter is something that just occurs. It doesn't mean that we are messed up or that we aren't as courteous or considerate of others when we're trying to make eye contact and hold conversations, but the chatter is just going. But like a radio, we can learn how to tune the channels a little bit, and sometimes to even turn the volume down on those. The difficult thing that many of us find is that we really identify with the way that our mind works. Many of us have put a lot of hard work, energy, and effort into cultivating a strong mind, a rich and deep experienced mind. Some of us work on multiple languages. Some of us study art or music and read literature, or just sit in grasses and listen to the bird sounds, or study the plants that are popping up all around us, just saying hello. Whatever it is, we've cultivated this mind to function in a certain way. Our conscious minds we really work at. And so it's difficult to put so much energy and effort into something and then realize that it's just that thing. It's not necessarily who I am. And finding this breathing practice, turning down the chatter of the cultivated mind, these are all just ways that we can really be at rest with who we truly are. And this isn't about fixing ourselves. This isn't about changing who we are in any way. Uh, there's enough of that in the world for you if that's what you're looking for. But this practice is about coming home. Coming home. Right here with the breath. Just coming home. So welcome home, friends. Let's do some breathing. With our conscious minds focusing on all of the little sensations of the breath, we can draw all of our attention into that internal landscape. Let's take a few breaths together. We're going to be holding our bodies in a way that facilitates the breath. There's no strict or stringent rules about this, but bodies tend to receive and release easier when there's openness. So if you can find a way to hold yourself open today. For me, that means straightening my spine a bit to fix my posture so I'm not slouching down and putting pressure onto my lungs and my diaphragm. It means bringing my shoulder blades together just a bit in the back so that my shoulders open up, my palms facing upward, resting on my lap. I like to sit in a legs crossed position, but you could sit however your body is asking you to sit. You could even stand or lie down. All of this is your opening to your experience and what you need in the moment. So let's find our openness. And we're going to be breathing in through the nose if you can, all the way to the bottom of the belly. If you can't, then try restricting the breath through the mouth, not to gulp air. We're not starving for this breath. What we're starving for is the connection to it. So big, full breaths aren't going to be helpful right now. We're not running from a bear. We're not even running from our own emotions. In this moment, we're going to breathe gently and softly to the bottom of our bellies so that our diaphragms pull downward, causing the belly to expand. Try not to breathe too much directly into your chest. Not right now. Just a few breaths. I'll invite the bell this morning and we can relax into this breath together. Breathing in, breathing out. And breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. So even in those few breaths, we can find that stillness, that silence. When we first started this sit, I used the metaphor of the seeds, carrying the seeds. Um, living in wilder places in my life, and being on the ground and walking a lot through forests and deserts and um, all these different regions, right? Mountains and crags and all these different places. Uh, we wear a lot of like wool clothing in the fall and in the spring, and in the fall there's in the deserts there's a lot of dried grasses, right? Uh, we get the grasses that come up with the spring rains, and then in the summer they dry out, and the seeds that come forth, they're just popping, they're ready to go. And as you walk, there's seeds that literally pop out of the grass. They jump. It's kind of fun to watch, but they will lodge themselves firmly into your boots, your socks, your leg hair, your wool pants, your sweaters, uh, and we carry those. And we carry those until they find the place that they're going to fall and they're going to take root. And just now in that meditation, after having opened that thought up, I learned from Quaker practice that silence is prayer in the Quaker tradition. And the tradition there is people sit in silence until they start to hear what it is their prayer is. It's about getting past the desire mind and getting into the listening, open, receiving mind. So when I go into these practices, I'm taking those teachings with me as well. And I was just listening for what is it? What is the prayer? And just hearing this this understanding of being carried, and what we carry, and how we are carried, all of this. It's really a phenomenal little bit of listening deeper. And it's almost like I hear this this thing inside of me that says, I'll carry you. I'll carry you. Like, you're okay. It reminds me of that song, He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. What it is to be carried by our people, or to be carried by spirit, or to be carried by culture, to be carried. Even the word care is built in there. And I also think about what it's like when we move through those places and gather those seeds, how unconscious we can be in our bringing of them. Journey Home Meditation has moved to Substack as a home, getting away from the metaverse and getting away, not getting away from, but coming to a slower pace, a place where we can take time to hear each other in our expressions a little bit longer. This back and forth culture that we have without a breath, it doesn't work for me. I've lived in a community where people are very intentional about not interrupting, and very intentional about practicing a deeper listening. And after living in that community, it's very difficult coming out of that community into the world of rapid fire thought vomit, where everybody's just and it's really difficult to not partake in that way of being, to jump right back into the training and rapid fire discussion. And a lot of this is culminating in my thoughts right now around this notion of what it is we carry into conversations. So on Substack, there's this thing that I'm seeing where people are coming in new, and they're bringing the old platform with them. This way of communicating that's very much Twitter feed and Facebook post. Um, and I see the older Substack users who don't tend to prefer that way of communicating any longer. And I just wonder about that. Like, I wonder how that is in my life when I'm stepping into new spaces. What am I bringing in that's fresh, that is not part of the culture of the space? What am I bringing in that is not useful? What seeds am I carrying that aren't going to take root here? you know, uh, and that's a small thought. It's a small thought in a larger scope, but I wanted to share it for some reason. There's some relevancy here for it, and I'm not sure where it is, but let's get to some poems today. Because this morning, my thoughts weren't about seeds. My thoughts were, and this is, I guess, adjacent, but my thoughts have been focusing on and meditating upon something that a friend said once. He said I commented on something being a miracle. I was like, oh, it's a miracle. And he said, no, there are no mistakes and there are no miracles. And that really took a while to sink in because I rejected it outright. Oh, well, of course there's miracles. And I guess there's probably mistakes if I spent my whole life thinking that I'm full of them. So yeah, I think you're wrong there, Buddha. But I listened deeper. And damned if I can't disprove that notion. There are no miracles and there are no mistakes. And if we can come to an understanding with that, come to a reckoning with that, maybe we don't have to believe that, but if we can come to the table with it and we can sit and we can be curious about it, I think we can look into what it would mean if I didn't exist here as an anomaly. What would it mean if I wasn't some forgotten mistake? What would it mean if I don't need to perform heroic feats all of the time to be accepted and loved? What would it mean if I didn't have to feel like I needed to hide my mistakes or my accidents or my uh, imperfections, the ways in which I get sloppy with my pain, or the ways in which I get uh, vindictive with my love? Like these things. Those are very connected and tied into the idea of miracles and mistakes. And that's where my thoughts were this morning as I sat at the typewriter and I was doing my morning poem, and I just couldn't find words. My brain was just going 100 miles a minute. All these thoughts. It was way too loud in that room of my mind to sit down and hear the poem. So I just started typing away at that conversation. what it is to not be in prayer, to not find silence, and to not hear your inner voice. And that put me on the path of thinking about mistakes, and then miracles, and then my friend who told me there are none of those. And so then I arrived here to the Beside meditation hall, and I was sweeping the floor this morning, and I was pushing everything out, all this old dust and energy that collects in here. I was moving it back out. And as I was getting that old energy out, those stuck energies, I started thinking about secrets. Secrets are connected in there. Mistakes, miracles, and secrets. Secrets are a part of this equation. And how so many times we fall into these traps of thinking we have some secret knowledge that no one else has. That we have some secret truth, or that there is a secret truth that we don't have. That's probably far more common, to feel like somebody's keeping this secret, how people just get up and do this all day, every day. There's got to be a secret, because I don't get it some days. But as I'm sweeping, I was just thinking about the shushing of that broom. Shh, shh, shh. And my brain started to associate the shush with a secret, like, shh, don't tell anyone. But then I worked through that, and I said, no, it's not telling me there's a secret. It's telling me just to be silent, just to quiet down a little bit and listen, and everything is revealed all the time. Everything's available all the time. And to be able to find that silence, the shushing of the broom, telling me to quiet down, I could hear myself again. I didn't have any secrets in there. I didn't have any mistakes in there. I didn't have any miracles in there. Just had a little chatter. So then I sat down and I cracked open the 2 books of poems that I had sitting here this morning that we've been working on. One is Bell Hook's Appalachian Elegy that we're going to get back into this week. And the other is God Speaks Through Wombs, Drew Jackson's first book. So I'll jump in first with the Drew Jackson poem, because that's the first one I read this morning. When I popped it open, this is where it landed. Of course, if you've been listening, this book is, he follows the book of Luke in the Bible. He's a pastor and a poet and a social activist, and very kind person. I sent him a message to inform him that we're working on his poems occasionally here, and he was very kind about that, and very grateful, and very humble. So thank you, Pastor Drew. This is called Where Lambs Feed, and it's after Luke chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. This moment is singular, a blank space, a blank slate. Before the world has its chance to mark you, scar you with harsh words, what locution will I utter as your initiation into this world of sentence and syllable? I think I will sing again, a lullaby this time, and this is the lesson I will teach you. Even revolutionaries must know when the time is right to sing softly. I think in remembering that the first teaching there, this moment is singular, a blank space, a blank slate. It's this moment that we're talking about here that we can get so wrapped up in tomorrow or yesterday and carrying with us all of those things that we forget that we have this opportunity in this moment to quiet down and listen for what this moment is giving us, this moment right here inside of ourselves. Um, and then the poet saying that they're not going to speak. They're not going to speak this time. They're going to sing. It's the singing, the lullaby. The word lull is there. This state of being brought down into calm and rest inside of your body, inside of your mind, to be lulled, to be sung to by the universe, to be sung to by God, and to listen and then to sing. Because even revolutionaries must know when the time is right to sing softly. I found a deep kindness in that, a deep kindness. As my mind is pounding with thought, I don't even know why. There's just times where I wake up and there's just the banging of thoughts around like pots and pans in my brain. And it kind of puts my body into a sort of paralysis where I just move a little bit clunky and without grace. These are the mornings that I spill tea on the floor, or that I stub my toe, or that I walk out of the house first wearing my slippers instead of my shoes. That may have happened today. Maybe. I can neither confirm nor deny, but I can say that this kindness being offered by the poet and the pastor, Drew Jackson, to remind us, to sing to us, to give us the lullaby and remind us it's okay to sing softly. Sometimes it's exactly what we need. This is along those same lines of like, there's no mistakes and there's no miracles. Just be in this moment and see what's here. Listen and it's going to be heard. You listen and it's going to be unfolded. Listen for the song, the melody. Thanks, Pastor Drew. And then let's get to the great teacher Bell Hooks. We're doing Appalachian Elegy, this wonderful love poem to her homelands of Kentucky and the Appalachian Mountains and the Appalachian Hills and foothills of Kentucky. I'm from just north of there. We used to go down to Kentucky to see concerts all the time, right across the river, the Ohio River from Cincinnati, or if you're from there, Cincinnati. This is number 5. Small horses ride me, carry my dreams of prairies and frontiers where once the first people roamed, claimed union with the earth. No right to own or possess, no sense of territory, all boundaries placed by unseen ones. Here, I will give you thunder. Shatter your hearts with rain. Let snow soothe you. Make your healing water clear, sweet. A sacred spring where the thirsty may drink. Animals, all. Wow. Again, the poet coming through with this permissive offering. She says, Here I will give you thunder, shatter your hearts with rain, let snow soothe you, make your healing water clear, sweet, a sacred spring where the thirsty may drink, animals all. The thirsty may drink. You know, it's not where the members get to drink for free and everyone else can pay or join the subscription rate. Uh, it's not a secret. You know, the spring. It's not. It's not held in title. It's not passed down from father to son through the lords of the land. There's no secrets here. It's all here. Animals all. It's here for us. We don't need esoteric knowledge. We just need to shut up. Listen. Be open to what you hear and let it fall into that place of love in your heart, even when you don't necessarily want it to. What could that look like? I don't want to love this. What could it look like if you did? Somehow find a way to have your love be present there. It would open so many understandings. I mean, we wouldn't need these esoteric gatekeepings. We wouldn't need to feel like I have to be a miracle. I have to be an anomaly. I have to be something different and powerful and all-knowing. We don't need to. I don't need to have the largest library in town if I have a library card. I got one, man. There's a library right there, you know. But yeah, I still have an addiction to buying poetry books. That's true. But the point is, to forget that you need to be a miracle or that you might be a mistake is to remember that you are whole and you are holy already. It's already there, man. The spring is sweet and clear. Drink. Thanks for being here this morning. It's really lovely to be able to work through these understandings in my confused chatter of a mind. And I would love it if more would join the conversation. You know, I'm not immune to looking at the stats on the video watches, and I see that there's a lot of people partaking, and I hear people tell me that they enjoy the sits and they're listening, but I'm not getting a lot of engagement from people. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your workings. I want to hear your understandings. And not just me, but all of us could be sharing these things. So participate. See what could happen if you leave a comment, ask a question, engage with some controversy or some critique. Because this is not intended to be a monologue. That said, I'm happy to be here. So thanks for putting the energy that you do put into being here as well. I love you all, each and every one of you. It's nothing personal. It's just easier that way. All right, friends. Take refuge in the Buddha, refuge in the Dharma, refuge in the Sangha. Hariom.